approaching 1 o'clock. Do me a favor, take a look at the screen and look at your name. If your name is not correct, meaning you show up as Sherry, please change your name to who you are and your location so we know where to send our referrals to. We have 2 more Sherrys entering the room, by the way. Yes, it is a technical glitch. It's a technical glitch on our side that we have yet to figure out how to solve it. So, Carrie, thank you for paying attention. We appreciate that. And Melinda, also, thank you. The rest of you Sherrys, unsherry yourself.
Yes. Tanner better show up. My feelings will be hurt. Kevin, I guess they're getting a dose of us in the morning. They don't need it twice, right?
All right, we got all kinds of people popping in here now, Den.
Yep. I'm going to get ready to start this Facebook Live. Let's see if it works. Whoops. Can't do it. I don't know why. Let's work on that.
Let's see. I don't know if I can do that, Den, as co-host.
Ginger, oh my gosh.
Yes, Ginger has arrived.
She's a old timer. Well, I got one, John.
All right. 1 o'clock, let's do it. And again, a reminder, if your name is Sherry on the screen, your name is not really Sherry. We know who you are. I know, we got one of the Sherrys going, why is my name Sherry?
Yeah,
so Denny.
If you can put your camera on, that'd be awesome. However, if you're in a tanning booth or a car wash, I understand why you may not want to do that. So,
we gonna have a history lesson today, Denny?
Oh yeah, I know. I've never done it on this call. I guess
do it. This is a good one.
All right. So I got this from memory. You know, well, let me just show you something here first, so you guys can see this. Keller Williams has put together a daily. Now, I mean, you guys have to only get to watch us once a week. However, we're putting this kind of show on daily now, and it's called Recon. It's on Zoom. If you guys want to, and John might put this in the chat. He's pretty handy like that. If you want to log on, it's totally free. You don't have to be part of Keller Williams. It does start at 8:30 to 9 o'clock Central Time, East Coast. That's 9:30 to 10 o'clock. And so as part, and we've been going now for a couple of weeks. So I started a tradition. Every day I tell them something that's happened on this day in history. So there's a lot of things that have happened on this day in history. However, I tied into real estate. So I don't know who's a music fan here. If you are a music fan, you may have heard of, or you may know people that have heard of, a guy named Elvis Presley. On this date in 1956, he released the album, a record, Heartbreak Hotel. And it was the first one that sold 1 million copies. Now, again, back there in the 50s, that's a kind of a big deal. Now, you know, Taylor Swift sells that every day. So, and it ties in with you guys here because I don't want any heartbreaks in real estate. And we know a lot of people don't make it in real estate and they have a heartbreak. And John and I want you to sell millions of dollars worth of real estate. So this Recon, it's John and I, and we have another, the president of MAPS from Keller Williams, and we put this on and we do the same thing. So if you can make it, that'd be awesome. As you know, we're covering mastery level play. There's more than one way to skin a cat. However, you're going to find John and I following a certain model, and it's called question-based listening enhanced conversations. A lot of familiar faces. Good to see you guys again. And I know the market is getting a little bit different. If you have not already, will you go to the YouTube? We're approaching 700, and I would like to get, my goal is to get to the 1,000 by June and kind of go from there. So there is a, what do they call that, John? A QR code?
QR code it is.
So if you want to take a picture of that or whatever, take it right to the YouTube channel. And I have something, I generally like to start with a thought of the day. And I'm working on a presentation I'm going to give next February. So I'm going to let you have a sneak peek and you can tell me what you think. A lot of people want to build their business, and we talk about lead generation all the time. Well, I've broken it down. You guys, if you want to take some notes. There's 4 phases. If you want to grow your business, there's 4 phases of lead generation that you have to master. And I'll go through these really fast, and we'll get into some objections. I've got a couple already in the can. If you've got something, you can raise your hand if you want to participate. I don't see Tanner yet. If you'd like to be able to participate in role play, we will coach you, and this would be good practice. Just raise your digital hand. John is monitoring that. Here are the 4 phases right here. Phase number 1, if you can see behind me, you might want to pin me so you can see my screen behind me, is making calls. John, I mean, you've been a coach, a productivity coach, you're a MAPS coach now. How many agents do you run into that basically have a fear of the phone?
It's like ivory, Denny. 99.44% of them have a fear of the phone.
So what I'd like you to do is next time you find one of those little kitchen scales that, like I weigh my food before I eat it so I can control my portions, put your phone on that. And how many grams is your phone? Then I'd like you to get a glass of red or white wine and put it on the scale. You'll notice your phone weighs about the same as a glass of wine. So it's not too heavy, right? And you should have that kind of down pat. So you've got to master making calls. The purpose of the call, guys, is to set appointments. Now, when we go through our practice conversations and objections, generally we're at the appointment. If you want to be successful setting appointments, though, you must master the first 15 seconds of your call. Then after you set the appointment, you're going to want to win at the appointment. And so you're going to want to get the listing. That's phase 3 that you want to master. And the 4th is getting it sold. Now, very quickly, I'm going to show you kind of those are the steps. Here's what we're going to be working on in this call as we move forward this week and beyond. Number 1, making calls is a mindset issue. If there's some sort of fear, basically, of making the call, particularly from people that I call it sphere fear. You're going to have to get over that. That only happens when you develop the right mindset. That's 1. Number 2, as far as getting the appointments, you want to master the conversation. You've got to have whatever lines, whatever quote script you'd like to use, you have to have it mastered. And that comes from practice. 3rd is getting the listing. That's another skill that we work on here. And it's called mastering your listing presentation. And the final one, getting it sold, is mastering pricing conversations. That is real estate success at a high level in 4 easy points. I could be a Baptist preacher. So what do you guys think of that? What's your thoughts, John? You've never seen that before.
No, but it is exactly the progression. And here's the thing, Denny, like you said in the beginning, what's the percentage of people who don't like to make calls? It's such a huge percentage. It's ridiculous. And the biggest point of failure in our business comes in the first year to 18 months because people are afraid to make the calls. So that's kind of why we're here, is how do you have those conversations and not sound like you're reading off of a piece of paper? That's
right.
The whole reason we do this.
And we're going to grow into, as this call grows, we're going to grow into outbound calls. John is really pretty good at that. He's better at that than I am because that's how he kind of built his business. I built my business at the table because I was selling new homes and people would walk in. So that's enough talk. Let's get into some objection handling and working on the model. So here is going to be the first one. We worked on this morning on the recon, and we had a pretty good discussion. Do we have any participants with their hands up, John?
We do not. I'm going to have to figure out what's going on with Tanner because he's always the first. Now, I would call out Luke because he jumps on this a lot, but he's eating. So we need to find somebody who is willing to step up. We'll go easy on you. This is not beating people up today. This is just getting everybody in practice. We're working the muscles.
Right.
I'll give it a whirl, John.
All right, Brian Hood, stepping up. Thank you, Brian.
So this is a seller conversation. Let's see. I think that I have let me go over here. There's the model, you guys. Acknowledge, isolate, clarify, answer, and close. And we are going, this is round 1. Brian, you're in the cage match. And the objection is, I want to wait. I don't want to sell because interest rates are too high. So I'll start the timer. Are you ready? I'll go ahead. John, why don't you go ahead and be the seller?
All right, I'm the seller.
Let's see if I can make this work. Go ahead and go. I'll get this thing working.
All right. So Brian, you're gonna get extra time. Perfect.
Okay, now are we in person or are we on the phone, John?
Oh, we're in person, Brian. We are
Okay.
in person.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. So John, tell me about your hesitation to sell your home.
Well, you know, Brian, my interest rate is really low on this house, and it just doesn't seem to make any sense whatsoever when I've got a sub-3 interest rate. Why would I want to go buy something at a 6% rate right now?
Okay, I understand that, John. John, other than the interest rate, is there anything else that would keep you from moving forward?
No, that's really it, Brian, is the interest rate. I can't justify it.
Okay, John, if you would, can you tell me a little bit more about that? What worries you most about that interest rate?
Well, it's double the interest. I mean,
Okay.
I love tax deductions and all, but that seems useless.
Okay, and tell me again why you're selling your home.
That question. I'm selling my home, Brian, because I'd like to move a little bit closer to my kids.
Oh, okay, great. Are you going to be staying in the same neighborhood, or is this a long move? Where are you going
No,
to?
it's about a 3-hour move from here.
Okay. John, what do you think the interest rate you might get when you make your purchases?
Well, everything I'm seeing is it's about 6% right now.
Okay. And John, historically, have you ever seen a time where interest rates were at a certain number and then they went back down? Have you seen that?
Yeah, and I saw where they went up.
Okay.
A year and a half ago was 2.5%.
Right. Yep. Yes, they were. I understand that. But do you think there's a period in the near future where they might come down again?
I don't know. You think they'll come back down to 2.5?
Well, nobody knows where they're going to go, but historically, if, they go in cycles. I don't know how long that'll be, but I also, how are you spending away from your family? What's it worth? Is that trade-off worth it, John?
Well, it's tough to say, Brian, because I really don't know what the trade-off is.
Well, it's either time with your family or paying a little bit more in interest for now, because John, you can always refinance when rates come back down. Have you thought about that down the road?
Isn't there a cost associated with that too?
There may well be, but isn't there a cost associated with being away from your family? And you can't have that time back.
No, but I mean, push comes to shove, it's only 3 hours. So push comes to shove, I can drive up there and, spend the weekend in a hotel for the difference in the mortgage cost.
Okay. Now, the difference in the mortgage payment, would you rather just be in your own home up there or keep staying in a hotel somewhere?
I don't know. Honestly, the thought of someone else cleaning the pool and room service is not a bad option.
It's not a bad option.
And no, I'm not being easy on him right now.
50 seconds.
John,
Hey, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop the timer.
okay, good, because he got me. He got me far enough off of this little perceived path I had that I was going to take that he pushed me right off of it. So go ahead.
Well, okay, so we'll talk about it. No, you were following the model. I have another timer with the model on the side so you guys can follow along. He was following the model. What I want you to notice of this is this. Number one, is the objection real world? Are you getting that objection that sellers don't want to move because they're giving up a little rate to have a big rate?
I haven't myself, but I've heard of other agents saying that's actually pretty common. People, they'll never get that back, they think.
Yeah, we'll do it on the buyer side here in a moment. So then when you notice right now, he's feeling a little bit lost. And here's what I want you to do is, it's kind of like you're in a school play. And I was actually in a dance competition, and I won't bore you with this. I mean, I only did it because I'm not a good dancer. I was afraid to dance. And so I spent about $10,000 on dance lessons to dance in front of 500 people on a Dancing with Stars deal, right? And no, I picked a song like from Michael Jackson. Like, that was really not so smart either. However, I was on the dance floor in my competition and totally forgot what my steps were. And I'm with a professional dancer. Of course, everybody's watching her anyway. And so what did I just do is I just kind of moved a little bit. I knew I had to move my feet. When you're on a presentation and you feel like you're lost, and you know why you have that feeling? Because you are. So rather than ramble, stop and ask some clarifying questions. And so there is not a right way to get to where you want to go. So don't stop dancing is what I'm saying. So
Okay, I was trying to find the pain point with the family and he wasn't buying it at all.
well, we're going to do this again. Who wants to handle this? And again, that was it. You followed the model
Hey,
good.
Denny,
Yeah.
let me, if I may, let me work with Brian just a little bit on this.
Okay.
Okay, Brian, you said something right there that I found interesting. You were trying to get me there, but I wasn't biting at all.
No.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I kept bringing up the family, and I don't know, obviously, I don't know anything about your family or the history. I don't know the closeness or who this
Bingo.
family members.
Bingo. Okay, so you back up. This is why Denny says reset.
Oh, okay.
Very simple question. What is it about being closer to your family that's important to you? So I'm going to use an example that Denny uses all the time in bold. I want everybody to kind of just think about this for a second. If you were to close your eyes and I say, picture a dog running. What do you see? Did anybody see my 90-pound Ridgeback chasing a rabbit through the woods?
Only
No.
you. Only
Why
you.
not? That's what I was thinking. This is why we have to clarify the second half of the second step. Isolate and clarify. You need to understand precisely where the client is coming from. It does not matter what we think or what we see in our head. You have
And
to
John,
wipe
how
that
did you-
slate clean.
How did you phrase that question again that I should have, what was my follow-up? Because I'm obviously writing these down.
Perfect. So tell me, Brian, what's important to you about being closer to your family?
Okay.
Because if you don't get to that emotion, I can deflect all day long.
Right.
And the other thing, if you notice too, guys, and we'll go, David wants to play. He'll be in the cage match next. I'll give him the same objection unless he has something else. We'll do the same one. Although I know what you're saying, Brian, yeah, I could not get him where I wanted him. I would rather you think of it as you finding him. You never connected with him. So
Okay.
rather than try to bring him to you, you get to him by asking the questions. And so dig deeper in that. So David, are you ready to handle the same objection for a 4-minute cage match?
Bet. Let's go.
All right. So anybody that's here on the call that would like to participate with training wheels, mean you can be the seller. That way it's a kind of a little bit different scenario.
Hey, Denny, Jason had his hands up a minute ago. He can, Jason, be willing to step in.
All right. So Jason, can you be the seller?
Sure.
And the objection is, do you remember the objection?
That the interest rates are too high.
Therefore, you're hesitant about selling. All right. So you ready to go?
Yes.
David?
Yep.
Here you go.
Hey, Jason. Thanks so much for talking to me today about your property. Can you tell me a little bit more about why you want to sell your home?
I'd like to get closer to my family.
Where are they?
They're up in Phoenix. I'm in Tucson.
Oh, okay. Couple-hour drive. What will that do for you if you're a little bit closer to your family?
Getting older, and I just feel that my grandkids are. I'd like to spend time with them. That's what it is.
Oh, it sounds like family is important to you.
Yes, very important. Awesome.
All right. Other than being closer to your family, what other concerns do you have?
When I bought this house, I was at a 2.5 interest, and these interest rates now really scare me. So I don't really want to do that.
Okay. So you want to be closer to your family, but interest rates, you're finding that to be a little bit of an obstacle, right?
Yes.
Other than those two things, anything else going on I should know about? Concerns?
Well, like I said, just the main thing is I don't want to lose money by the interest rate.
Okay, you don't want to lose money. I hear you. Anything else other than not wanting to lose money, wanting to be closer to your family, and being a little nervous about interest rates?
No, that's about it.
Okay,
Good.
awesome. Well, if I could show you a way that we could avoid the things you want to avoid and reach the goal you want to reach, would you be interested in talking to me further about putting your home on the market and getting it sold so you can be closer to your family?
Well, David, you guys are at the table now. So that was a great closing question if you were on the phone. So you're at the table now.
All right, thanks, Denny.
Okay.
So Denny,
He is talking to you.
yeah. So if I was able to show you how we can avoid the pitfalls with the interest rate and the loss of money, would you entertain moving forward and putting this home on the market?
It's yeah, but I don't understand how when my interest rate's at 4, how do you say I'm going to save money? Or I mean at a 6, how am I going to save money with that?
Okay, well, let's dig right into that. You're not going to save money on the interest rate if you sell this house, you buy a new house in Phoenix near your family, you're going to have a higher interest rate. There's no way around that. So let's look at the actual numbers though. What'd you buy this house for?
375.
Okay. What price range do you want to be in Phoenix? Same price range?
Don't answer your question.
Okay.
No. David, you asked a question. Don't answer it.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'd probably be about the same. I'm just not sure what the market is like that up there.
Okay. You know, Jason, what I normally find when people call me, invite them to their homes because they're interested in selling their house, they have concerns, but their focus is typically, I really want to sell my house because my life's going to get better. In your case, because you get to be near your family.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible that you could end up in a situation where you're paying a higher mortgage or you're living in a more modest home and it would be worth it for you in your situation to be closer to your family?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it kind of sounds to me like you have one really clear interest, the goal you want to reach. And the obstacle is a financial one. And I can't change the interest rates for you, but I can find you a great home at a great price. I can help you get your home sold. I can do everything except change the mortgage rates for you.
Time. So how do you feel?
Who are you asking, me or him?
No, I'm asking David.
Okay.
I think I feel good. I think I've engaged him. I'm finding out what's important to him. I mean, to me, the most important element is what's his motivation? And he's got a great motivation. I love it when people want to be close to family.
Okay, John, go ahead, and you've taken some notes. Go ahead and give him your blink.
So I agree that the motivation is family. Here's my question. If the motivation is family, why did you spend so much time on interest rate?
Bingo.
What I felt, and David, take this with just all the coaching and direction it is, all right? What I felt, if I was in Jason's shoes, I'm feeling like you're trying to solve a secondary issue, which is the interest rates.
Good.
Remember,
Okay.
the first objection you get is not going to be the real objection 99% of the time. So the process, and Denny teaches it in bold, and we teach it in 6 perspectives, is the 4 quadrants, right? Current pleasure, current pain, future pleasure. You need to bring him to the future pain. And the future pain, you're going to find out when you realize the reason why he wants to be close to family. Whether it's spending more time with your grandkids, great. What does that mean? Why is that important? Is it because he wants to take him fishing and teach him baseball and how to whittle with a knife and a stick? Or is one of them ill? Get to the real reason behind it and then keep them there.
Okay.
Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah,
Gals?
that's good.
So on that, what would your, since the initial objection was the interest rates, how do you just completely ignore that my interest rate was the objection, and then when I said that I want to be with my kids, just stay with that one?
I'll get to that in just a second. I want to answer it, and then we'll go on to this objection from a buyer's perspective. I just wanted John to make sure he got his points across.
Yeah, that was exactly it. And Jason, David did a fantastic job of finding out what your real motivation is, being close to your grandkids. Now, but why is that important? You have to keep digging that in. All right. Again, that's why I used the picture a dog running analogy. No one pictured my Ridgeback. I'm sure somebody pictured a Labrador chasing a stick in the water. Somebody else pictured a Beagle. You know, someone pictured Snoopy. We all have a different concept, a different idea of what precisely is important to you about being near your grandkids based on our own experience. But our experience clouds our judgment.
Let me go and put a bow in this. So when people are talking rates, and this will give you some insight how to handle the next one from the buyer side. All right, Jason, I'll come back to you, okay? So just, let's see, I'll just start this and I think I can do this in 2 minutes. So Jason, you said about the rates. Let me ask you, you're in the $375,000 range. And what is the difference in the rates that's slowing you down?
Well, to me, it's crazy to pay 6%.
Okay. And so what are you paying now?
2.5.
Okay. And what is the difference? Have you figured out what the difference in your monthly investment? Notice I didn't say payment. What's the difference in your monthly investment on those two rates?
No, I haven't ever thought about that. I just know that, man, 6%, that's crazy. I don't want to pay that.
Okay, so I'm going to stop just for a moment. Can you see people are going to be stopping themselves on rates? Are rates really important? No, it's the payment. So well, would you, for example, and you have a financial calculator, any antiques out there besides me that's using the HP 12C?
Denny, that's amazing that you still have that.
Can you mute them, please, John?
I'm working on it.
Okay. So let's say, okay, so what would you not, Jason, would you not agree the payment is the payment more concerning to you than, I'll say monthly investment, than the interest rate?
Yes.
Okay, so let me help you. This is why you guys don't call a mortgage broker every time you have a financial question. Be able to work the numbers. And you know a factor of 6%, every $1,000 is $6 a month. I'm not going to go there. John salivates when we start talking about numbers. Most people can't do it. So you work with them. Say, well, you know, when you go over there, your monthly investment based on that interest rate, and you're right, David, you said a couple times you can't change the rate. I don't think I would go down that road and keep saying that. I'd say, okay, well, it looks like it's going to be about $380 more a month. Can you afford $380 a month?
I probably could, but I think I would probably go down more, because that's like another car payment of $380. So yes, I can afford $380 a month. Yes.
Now, what I'm attempting to do, guys, is there's a difference between wanting to and able to. If they're not able to, then you may have to go down a different road. Now, he's just volunteered. Well, maybe I would go down in price range in order to get my monthly investment in order. So he says, oh, yeah, I can afford it. So $380. Now, notice it doesn't matter what the monthly investment is. He may be paying $1,800. So you're not talking about $1,800 anymore, and the new payment is going to be $2,200. You only talk about the difference. And now when you understand what John was talking about, his motivation is being close to his family. The way you would use that number, it's not $380 a month. How much is it, John, a day?
$14 a day.
So is being close to your family worth $14 a day?
Jeez. Think about how much it's going to gas. Yeah, that's great.
Now, you see, that's when you take it down to the emotional level, that when you could basically go and play catch with your grandson or be there for at a moment's notice, maybe they need you to watch the kids, and you're saying no for $14 a day. So
and Denny, if they push back on that, as you get to know your clients even more, now you have to get to this point of relationship. You're not going to do this on the first conversation with them. Ryan Lowry, I'm hoping you would use this tact because I appreciate you and I know how how strong you are with your clients. If you know they go out to lunch every single day of the week and they're spending $30 or $40 to go out to lunch, say to them, if you could see your grandkids and all you had to do is give up half of your lunches and bring your lunch, would you do that? And then they're going to start thinking about, so wait a second, how can I put a cheeseburger ahead of my family? So you can start bringing these things in the deeper your relationship goes. And guess what? You're only going to get to that deep relationship by asking questions.
there you go. So we have in hand, we got Luke's ready to play. Anybody else want to play? We're going to do the other one. You might get this. Do you guys hear this from your buyers that interest rates are too high? So again, let's say it's very similar, although most people don't know what it means to them from a monthly basis. You want to find it, get it down to a number, find out if they can afford it. Are they willing to stretch for it? Or is it a matter of will or emotion? So
Who would like Easy Street and would like to be the buyer on this one?
I think, oh, Easy Street. Yeah. Okay. Easy Street. Who wants to be the Easy Street buyer?
Well, this is, come on, guys. You had to have buyers that have this objection. This should be something you'd be able to handle, step into and roll with without a problem.
I'll do it.
I was
Come
going
on.
to say, if nobody steps up, we're going to have Al do it. But then he stepped up and saved you.
All right. So here we go. I'm a buyer. And Luke, you got me, baby, right?
Yep.
Go up. All right. You know the objection. I don't want to buy right now in this market. You nuts. The interest rates are too high.
Oh, actually, I'm curious. I didn't want to ask you a question. Is that kind of the only reason you're hesitant to buy right now? It's because of the high interest rates?
Yeah.
I see. I definitely feel you. It definitely is a lot different than where it was at its all.
Hang on. I know that's filler. When you acknowledge, don't embellish it, because now you're making me feel like that's like everyone's saying it. You're justifying my feelings. So you're better off not digging a hole. You know what I mean?
Just be short and vague, like type of thing, I guess.
Just say, I understand.
I understand. Okay, yeah. I did it kind of
kinda
backwards. As soon as I started talking, I'm like, shoot, I should have acknowledged first, but
No, you kind of did. However, you guys,
Yeah.
if you're married, sometimes your wife just wants you to listen. So just say, I understand. Okay, so here we go. Starting over and go.
I understand, Denny. I definitely do. The rates actually back, several months ago, let's say you got lucky and you got a 3.5% rate, right? The average sale price for a home in Sacramento County for a single family residence was $647,000. So to put that in perspective, if you were to go out and get the same home right now, it
Hey,
would
Luke,
be,
can I coach you? Is there a question coming?
yes, there is. I'm sorry. I'm jumping way ahead of myself. You're right.
So it's okay, you guys, that's what we teach. I mean, there's different styles. Just questions are better. My inner voice is much
Right.
more powerful than what his voice is.
Yeah.
So ask me what you think you want to ask me.
Okay. I know what I should ask you. I should ask you, say, hey, is that the only reason?
Yeah, you already did. Yes, that's the only reason.
Okay. And what's important to you about the interest rate?
Well, I mean, my payment's going to be, it's got to be more. It's got to be like, interest rates have doubled. My payment, I'm sure, is doubled.
And why was you buying again? Why was you wanting to buy?
All right. So now he's back on a familiar path, right? You guys always got to remember to get to what? Motivation. Well, this house is too big for us. And my wife and I, we've got the kids off now, and we wanted something a little closer to the golf course we like to go to. So that's why we're thinking about it.
I see. And how soon was you wanting to do that?
I mean, someday before I die. I don't have to be there. I just would like to do it at some point, you know, I'm not getting any younger.
Right, right. I definitely understand your position. Just to put it in perspective real quick, your payment, if you were to buy a house at the average sale price of 647,000 way back, now your payment would only be, believe it or not, it'd only be roughly anywhere from $100 to $400 difference, because the prices have come down roughly about 15%. Just to put it into a dollar amount, that's about $100,000 on the average sale price.
Okay, I'm going to stop. This is awesome, you guys. You and John ought to be together. So for the average person out there, you know, how many numbers did he use in one sentence?
Too many.
You can't do that with most people, you guys. You could do it with John. They're not going to follow you, but they're not going to say, I don't understand. You're just losing them.
So Denny, you're right. Luke, I identify as Luke from Sacramento. However, you started to get to motivation, and then you went right back to you, which is, let me tell you how much I know about numbers. And I fall into this all the time because I'm going through this. When Denny opened that door, I'm like, oh man, here's the numbers. This is simple. Well, shoot, no, that's not the model though. Have you heard me talk about having 4 or 5 paper clips on your desk when you're talking to people? And every time when you get to their motivation, you ask a question, you move it from one side of the desk to the other. You're not allowed to get off motivation until you go 5 questions deep. Because you won't know what the motivation is. Remember, going back to the analogy, picture a dog running. You don't know what kind of dog it is. You don't know where it is. You don't know if it's snowy, rainy, swimming in a lake. You have no idea. You need to get more information about the picture.
So let's come up with 5 questions about the motivation. I'll stop your timer. This would be a good exercise, John. So you can move your paper clips. Anyone can participate. Just come off mic. I'll give you the first question, Luke. On motivation. Anybody have a question on motivation? I said I wanted to go, our kids are out, I want to downsize, I want to be closer to the golf course where we play golf. That's logic. There's no emotion in that. What's the question?
How often do you play golf?
That's good. Well, we play about 4 times a week.
That's cool. And how far are you from the golf course right now?
It's 30 minutes.
And what's important to you about getting closer than, you know, where you are now?
It's just a hassle. I mean, it's 30 minutes, but we're only 3 miles, and the traffic's crazy, and it just drives me nuts.
Luke, I'm going to jump in, give you a little bit of a lifeline. You're staying in logic. Now, I have no idea what Denny's thinking, but ask this question. Who do you play golf with?
My wife.
Excellent. Is it now? Tell me about is this a sport that you and your wife really enjoy spending time together with?
Yeah, I mean, we worked till we retired, and we got to play once a week, and now we're retired. This is our quality time.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's a pang of emotion right there.
So see how I'm getting off of logic into emotion. Logic makes you think. We want them to act. So, you know, Denny, do you and your wife just play together, or do you have another group that you typically play with?
Well, there's a league that we play in, but we like to play by ourselves the most time, because that's kind of our quality time. You know, we don't want pressure. We don't worry about scores. And she's really bad at golf, and she embarrasses me playing golf. So.
This is being recorded, and I can send this to his wife if we ever need to.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about the recording. Okay, I was only kidding about that.
So Denny, if you got to play more golf with your wife, what's that going to do for you guys?
Well, you guys, you know, I'm already playing golf with her, so you're going down the road. So that won't be it. It's the frustration of getting there. So we are already involved in the activity. It's just we want to be closer. So maybe the question would be, well, if you save that time, it's convenient. Would you be playing more? Would you be using the club from a social aspect? But
yeah, that's a great way of rephrasing that. If you weren't spending 30 minutes each way to go 3 miles, which you could probably pull your golf cart that distance faster than you can drive it, would that give you and your wife more time to be able to play golf together?
Anyway, John makes a great point. You see what you're doing? When you understand that, so that's understanding what picture I have in my mind about the dog running. Now, the second part is, and I have slides in the deck, I'm just not showing the day, is understanding their picture. Now we have to help them see what they're not seeing. But don't do that until you understand clearly what their picture is. And the paperclip idea, 5 deep, particularly under motivation, and maybe 3 of the 5 have to do with emotion. Now you've got something, you know where I hurt, now you can press on it to make sure I feel it. So we've got time. We can do this again. And if you think it's worthwhile, unless there's another request from the crowd, John, what do you sense they're doing? Are they playing Candy Crush? Or are they with us?
No, they're with us. There's a lot of people going, okay, I get it. I'm starting to see this now. And I really don't think it's that they're matching colors up on Candy Crush. I'm glad I'm colorblind. I can't get wrapped up in that game. Now, we do have another hand raised. It's from Rich Gibbons, and I'm wondering if this is really Rich, as I get the eyebrow raise when I mention that. So jump on in here, Rich.
This is May with Sacramento Keller Williams.
Hey,
I'm
May.
I'm a newer agent, but I would like the opportunity to role play if that's okay.
Do you want to role play that objection from being a listing agent or a buyer's agent?
Buyer's agent.
Okay, so do we have a volunteer to be the buyer? I'll give her a different scenario. John, find someone or do it yourself.
Well, Al, are you going to step up and be a buyer, or you want me to be the buyer? Al's my go-to.
I can be the buyer.
All right, Al's going to be the buyer.
Now, yeah, so she's a new agent now. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being Freddy Krueger, give her a 9. All right, here we go. No, I'm kidding. There we go. Start.
Hi, Al. This is May. I'm so happy and excited that you met with me today. I'm really excited to help you on this journey of buying a house. I know you had some questions for me, so go right ahead.
Yeah, we're just looking at the market out there, deciding whether or not it's to our advantage to move at this point or not. We refinanced a few years ago and got a great interest rate now, but circumstances have changed, job has changed, and looking to see if, in fact, it would be to our advantage to move a little closer to where we don't have to commute as far. So.
Awesome, perfect. So you currently own your, oh, go ahead.
With interest rates changing,
Right,
just
perfect. So
find
you
out what's going
currently,
on.
so you
So yeah,
currently
so
own,
you have to speed it up a little bit. So yeah, interest rates are too high.
okay, perfect. So, well, actually, this is the perfect time to buy. We're right before the spring. There's going to be less demand right now. If you're concerned about the interest rate, we can definitely get there. But I want to learn a little bit more about yourself. I know you mentioned that commuting was an issue for you. So are you trying to find a house that is closer to your job, or is it for your wife? Tell me a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's something that's closer to the job, yes.
Okay, perfect. So how long is your commute right now?
Well, now it's about 45 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So, I'm very happy to help you with the purchase. I can definitely run some numbers for you, but I will tell you, I have a few clients right now, and it's been exciting to put offers in homes. There is less competition, and the sellers right now are given a lot of credits. Is there an area?
Is it May? Is it May?
May. Mhm.
Okay, so John, you are awesome, brand new. I wish I had done this when you're brand new. However, can we give you some coaching?
Yes, of course.
So John can do the coaching. I'm going to pull up the model here.
Yep. Pull up the model again. So,
And
and May, thank you very much for stepping out of your comfort zone. This is not easy. You're in front of 40 people that you don't know. So thank you. There might be somebody else from Sacramento on here anyhow. So you did what we all do when we start fumbling for the right words in the next question. You started laundry listing. And by laundry listing, it's here's what I know, here's what I know, here's what I know, here's what I do, here's what I do, here's what I do. Which is all great. It's awesome that you know that, but we don't know if it's actually needed information at this point. It becomes filler. Also, when Al mentioned his commute, you said, oh, I'm sorry about that. I don't know if Al's commute of 45 minutes is long or short, because that's all 45 minutes is a time frame. It is subjective. So the next question, because you want to be able to find out if this is a pain point. Oh, my commute's 45 minutes. So Al, back at you for a second. So Al, you said your commute's 45 minutes. How do you feel about that?
Well, from what I've been used to, it's quite longer. So before it was under 15 minutes.
Oh, so what's that extra half an hour each way costing you during the day? What'd you have to give up?
Well, time with the family, time getting out in the golf course earlier at night.
Excellent. Okay, so back on this. Now do you understand, May, why getting that question, get some clarity around that? He said 45 minutes. You thought it was long. He could have said, man, I used to live on the other side of LA. I had to commute from Anaheim to Agora Hills. It took me 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
So you
Right.
need some clarity around that.
So again, the model, when he said commute, though, the isolation part here is part of the model is, all right, I understand, other than the commute, what else is making you want to buy a new home? You've got to get all of that out, right? And then when he said interest rates, other than the interest rate, is anything else? So you want to get all of it on the table. So let's just assume we've got to that point. Interest rates is his concern. And so, well, we've got time here, so no problem. I'll go ahead and find the timer here again, and we'll set it up. And go ahead, take it from that point. And John may just do a timeout and give you a little coaching if you get too far off the track. Okay.
Okay, so basically we address that as the commute and the interest rates.
Well, the commute is yes, I guess. Yes.
Yeah, the commute's
Okay.
secondary. He's going to be stuck on the interest rates.
Okay, perfect. Well, Al, thank you so much for sharing everything and all your concerns. I'm definitely here to help you navigate those. Knowing that information is going to help me find you the right home for you, right? I understand the payment and the interest rate, it's a concern for you, but there is many programs and I work with a lot of lenders. There's different options. There's actually a new build that's nearby the area that you were
May.
looking at, and
May.
they're giving a lot of credits right
May.
now, and they're, sorry.
May. So you're doing an awful lot of talking.
Okay.
Okay. Again, this is, and I'm so glad you're doing this because, like I said, we all have done it and we all still do it. Remember, 5 questions about the pain. So, okay, Al, we know that interest rates are your biggest concern. What is your concern about the interest rates? Stop talking. Ask a question. Let him do the talking. Because here's the thing is he's learning a lot about you. You're not learning anything about him. The goal and the job in your appointment is for you to learn about him.
Okay. Now
Okay. Does
that
solve the
make sense?
problem right there.
Yeah,
So-
you've got to understand what dog he's seeing in his mind.
Okay.
So the first question will be, okay, I get it, Al. Interest rates are an issue. So tell me more about that.
Well, like I said earlier, we refinanced a few years ago and got a rate now of 2.75. Our payment dropped substantially. And now I understand rates are somewhere around 6.5% to 7%,
Okay. So,
which is
I
higher than
understand.
what we were before.
okay. So I get it. I get it. So what's your payment now?
Right now we're paying $1,800 a month.
Okay. And by the way, May, write it all down. All right.
Mhm.
Okay. So you're paying $1,800 a month out. That's excellent. What are you expecting to pay on your new property?
Would that be a home, John?
Yeah, it'd be a home.
Somewhere in that $2,000 price range.
Okay. Now, Al, is this as far as price goes? Are you looking at a lateral move price wise, or is this going to be a significant change in price either direction?
We don't need as large of a lot. So size wise, probably similar to what we have now, but just a smaller lot.
Okay. Okay. So, as far as the price goes, is this going to be a more expensive property than you have now, or a least expensive property?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Depends on what year the home is that we look at.
So I would just call timeout just for a second. So my mind is wondering, he answered the question, he's going to go from 18 to 2000. And so my question to you, John, is because I'm curious, why are you going down if he's up or down? Because really the difference is right now is going to be the monthly payment. It doesn't really matter. Now he probably has the 2000, probably not high enough. Probably not. So
Well, and that's kind of why I was getting at it.
I get it. I figured that. So let's assume that your payment's going from 1800 to 2500. So it doesn't matter what price range, and don't get all balled up in 3 bedrooms and 2 baths at this point. You guys,
All we're doing is trying to analyze.
issue.
Yep.
Go ahead.
What's he comfortable? So, okay, so Al, your new payment's going to be 2500, and is that a number that you're comfortable with?
I can afford it, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
One more thing, John. I'm going to coach you now.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think I'd say comfortable. Who's ever comfortable with that? It's either can you afford it or not.
Can you afford it or not afford it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great point. Great point. Thank you. So Al, $2,500 a month. Is that our payment that you can afford?
Yes.
Okay. Terrific. So now I'm going back to the price of the house, Denny. I'm getting back into the analytical mode. I've been hanging around Luke too much today.
I don't think you need to.
Yeah, we may not need to. So Al, let me ask you this. If we can find you the right property, the right commute, the right size, the right lot size, everything that you mentioned that you're looking for, and your payment is at your comfort zone, at the number that you can afford or less, wouldn't it make sense to move forward?
I'm going to call you on that.
Do it.
He can afford the 2500. So it's not about finding the right house. My question would be, Al, if you can afford it, you just told me all the reasons why you wanted to move. Is it worth $700 a month for you to be closer and do this and do this and do this?
If we found a property that we like, yes.
Well, okay, now, however, now we've gone off the interest rates. Now he's just admitted that, yeah, if he finds the right home, he'll make the monthly investment. So was his real concern the interest rates, or there was nothing out there that he saw that he was excited about, and so he's using that as a smokescreen? Sorry, John, I took control. Did you hang up?
Yeah, I got to make sure the mic's on.
Okay.
That's the beauty of being red-green colorblind. I can't tell whether it's on or not by looking at the light. Anyway, and guys, that's why we do this. I've been doing this 18 years, and guess what? I'll get stuck in the same rut everyone else does. So having an extra set of eyes and ears looking at what's being done in the conversation is extremely helpful. Everybody can tweak things a little bit. And I got caught, I'll be honest, guys, being completely open here. I got caught exactly what we were just talking about. I had in my mind a way to solve Al's problem. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the way that Al wants the problem solved. I had in my mind a way to solve Al's problem, and I was looking for a way to be able to work that into the conversation.
Yes, and in all fairness, that's why they don't have team chess. You never see two people playing one side of the chessboard. John was playing a different game than I was playing, and he would have gotten there in a different way. And I just wanted to demonstrate to you there's a shorter path, not necessarily a better path. The other thing is when you're zoning in, when you're getting close to basically the heart of it, and Don Henley would say the heart of the matter, don't get distracted on the minutia. Make sure one thing this has taught me the last couple of years is to be very clear on what maybe the heart of the objection is. And when you're there, make sure you stay on it. So let's go, John. Find a couple people. We have time for another. We can change it around. You can make it potluck, jump ball. Somebody step up. And May, that was awesome. Come back next week. Join us at Recon, because what John says is absolutely right. Until we learn how to do it, we don't know how to do it. And you'll get there very fast. One thing I'll say, John, while you're picking somebody out, I had an aha this week. You guys A lot of people don't like to make calls because of rejection. I'm going to have you take that R word out of your vocabulary. I want you to quit using rejection, and I want you to start using feedback. So if the call does not work, if they hang up on you, it's only feedback. Imagine if you're learning golf and that ball does not reject you. It is just giving you feedback relative to your skill at hitting it. Does that make sense? So if you're,
that's all it is.
if
And
you're
I wonder, is
shaking,
Terry
if
Patton
you're
still in
shaking the
here?
ball, it's feedback. So it's up to you, John. Take us home. Give us a
All
couple.
right. Is Terry Patton still in here, or did she have to jump off? She had a really good question. And Denny, let's address this for a second, because this is such a great question about our mindset as an agent. Does the frustration you experience have any effect on your game? That is such a great question.
Well,
Okay. And the reason it's a great question is, how many times have you been in a conversation and something happened in the conversation that got you frustrated, got you distracted, and your demeanor changed, your countenance changed, your track changed? So I know she's not here right now. I hope she'll go back and take a look at the recording, but yes, that does happen. You know, I don't know, Denny, if you're smiling for the reason that you're smiling for, but Denny called me a couple weeks ago and says, you know, that wasn't one of your best moments, was it? I'm like, nope, that absolutely was not one of my best moments. So yes, we all fall into that. So Denny, let me ask you this. When you're in a conversation with somebody and it goes down a road that frustrates you, what do you do to pause and reset and get yourself back focused the way you need to be?
well, it's funny. It's interesting that John's taken this tact on this question, because the question goes back to the, I'm 30 minutes from the golf course. She was asking, does it affect my golf game? So it's okay. We'll take it down this road. That's why I'm smiling, because that goes back to when we're having the golf conversation. So for me, it comes with experience. So May, you're new. Other people here are new. Type in, you can agree. Ryan's here. When you get to the point when you're not attached to the outcome, make sure you hear me. You're not attached to whether they buy or sell. You don't really get too frustrated. What frustrates me is things that don't make sense. When you attempt to have a conversation with someone and they're always slipping outside and you can't triangulate them. That probably happens if they're irrational people or they don't have motivation. And I guess if I learned this on my 15th year of real estate, I learned if you're going to make zero on your commission working with them, the sooner you find out, the better. So from a real estate business standpoint, if you're not attached to the outcome, and so maybe somebody can define that in a different way, your frustration level always is very moderate. Put that in another context. John, Ryan, somebody, Jeff.
So when you're saying you don't have care of what the outcome is, basically, where a lot of people I find is they want that commission and they're trying to make it. And you realize that the next one is probably going to be a better commission than this one just going in circles.
The frustration comes when you want them to buy or sell. When you want them to buy or sell is greater than their motivation to buy or sell. That equals frustration. And so when the
frustration comes from you changing and being emotionally attached to the outcome of whatever that conversation is going. I love that, Denny. That's awesome.
That's why I'm here.
And you'll be here all week.
So come on, we got time for another one. You got 3 minutes. Who wants to go? 3 minutes. Jeff's playing. Jeff, come on.
I was just going to comment that I worked with a coach for a long time, and he said frustration leads to failure. So I think that's important to realize. The minute you start feeling frustrated in a real estate transaction, unless you're able to get it under control and reverse the tide, it does often lead you to failure, because I got the broker calls. blah, 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 blah. I'm not in it for compensation. I'm in it to try to help you win. And the first thing I try to do is take the frustration out. So that's all I have to say.
Well, Jeff, thanks. He's our broker. I wonder if you have anything other than frustration. One more thing I'll add to that, and you guys have some ahas you'd like to share it. One thing that we learned in Bold, and this is a great lesson. The things that generally frustrate us or that we allow to frustrate us, we can't control. There's only two things we can control. It's what we think and what we do. If you're frustrated with other people, stop it. If you're frustrated with your kids, stop it. You can't control it. You don't like the weather. You get what I'm saying. And so I'm learning, the older I get, the more I'm being coached. Hey, let me just take care of what I think and what I do. And you know what? I could be frustrated with me knowing I could do better, yet I can control me. So John, get some ahas and put a bow on this. This is a great attendance and a great class.
Yeah, this was excellent today, guys. So a couple quick takeaways. What did you pick up today that you're going to be able to put to use immediately?
Go 5 deep for motivation.
5 deep for motivation. Thank you, Terry.
You beat me to it. I was going to say exactly that.
Good job.
Frustration leads to failure. Thank you, Bridget.
I don't know if there's anybody from Fort Lauderdale. Go ahead. Sorry.
One more.
Yeah.
Ask more questions. Ask more questions.
Ask more questions. You will never go wrong asking more questions unless you're like 97 questions on the same thing.
I think it's just another reminder also that the first objection is usually not the primary objection, and that's the reason to go 5 deep. I think it's just that we get tied up in this conversation that interest rates are the primary pain point, but I think really seeking the primary pain point is our goal in going 5 deep. So I think that these kind of conversations are just so helpful as a reminder that the interest rate may be not the most important thing.
Good point. Awesome, Adam. Thank you.
I'll go ahead and add real quick what I got out of it was the actual breaking down the number to maybe $200, $300 difference in a monthly payment can justify a lot.
Yep. Awesome. Well, you can think of anything to make this our program better. Let us know who needs to be here and let them know who should be on our YouTube channel. And again, don't forget our daily East Coast, 9:30 to 10 o'clock, 8:30 to 9 o'clock Central, and all the way in California. You guys, you do the math on that. It taxes my brain this late on a Friday. So it's almost happy hour here, and your guys are just eating cereal in California. So thanks for being on, and love you, mean it. Knuckle bump. Be careful out there. Thank you, John.
Denny, real quick, Rita, send me an email. I will get you somebody in Fort Lauderdale for you. All right.
I'm not in Fort Lauderdale, but I'm in Boca. I'm close to Fort Lauderdale. If they need someone down there, I can find someone.
There was somebody on Palm Beach. Who was that?
I'm Palm Beach. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. So Adam, reach out to Rita. She's got somebody.
Okay. Excellent.
All right.
Okay.
I'll leave this open just a second so you guys can connect.
Yep.
Denny and John, thank you guys very much.
Hey, it's our pleasure.
So let's see. I don't know if Ryan was actually there, or that was just basically his shadow.
Yeah, we did have just the shadow of Ryan today. Okay, Adam, you got Rita's. If you look in the chat, you will see Rita's contact information. Got it in there. Rita Prasad 24. Okay, taking it down. Rita, I will reach out to you. I will drop you an email. I put my number in there too, so please feel free to text me or call me. That's my cell phone.
Bye, Ginger.
All right.
Thanks, everyone. See you next week.
Yep. Thanks, Mark. Hey, Jeff, I have a question for you, maybe in you and John. Do you have a quick second?
Sure.
I had a question. All right, so you go under contract, and this, because Southwest Florida, I mean, the condo association, they're talking about a new assessment because of hurricane damage, right?
Right.
So any known assessment has to be disclosed, or, I mean, I don't know about NABOR or whatever. I mean, if they're talking about it, But it's not been ratified. It probably has to be discussed, right?
Yeah, you can usually get the minutes. You can ask for the minutes of the meetings, which will, can give you an indication that there's a discussion about it. That becomes a pending special assessment, and it does need to be disclosed. The issue you have is many sellers, they don't read the minutes, they don't know what's going on in the association. There could be investors, or they live in a different community, and they don't stay up with it. So now you come along, you go into contract and find out, boom, there's a big special assessment coming. So it's a problem, Denny. I mean, and it's a problem to say, well, this was a pending special assessment because you knew about it.
Well, here's the question that came up. Now they're under contract, and they let's say there was no discussion about any assessments until post-contract, pre-closing. Now what?
Right. Well, in the NABOR contract, they specifically say, if you are a seller and you have knowledge of an upcoming special assessment, and you disclose it.
No, it wasn't discussed until post-contract.
Buyer's responsibility.
Even pre-closing, before closing. So when they go under contract, go ahead.
Well, the effective date of the contract is the cutoff for an assessment that's on the books prior to the contract and afterward, not closing, it's contract. So theoretically, if I don't know anything about it and all of a sudden there's an assessment after you and I go to contract, it's a buyer's responsibility. Unless I'll negotiate.
And not a condition to cancel the contract?
No, sir.
That could be significant.
Well, now, we have a lot of cases on Marco where there's seawall issues, right? So the seller will say, I'm going to pay the seawall assessment, even though I don't know how much it is, but I know it's going to happen. So you can negotiate it, but yeah, there is not a whole lot. Once the contract is ratified and an assessment goes on the books, it's the buyer's responsibility.
Got it. It is kind of scary. All right, buddy. Thanks for being.
The other thing is, did the seller know that? The issue, the gray area is, did the seller know anything about it and fail to disclose it? I think that's the other side.
Yeah, I get it. All right. Thank you, Jeff.
Have a great weekend. Anytime.
All right, bye. Thank you, guys. Bye.